The SEC postpones vote on dealer registration rule for hedge funds measure now scheduled for February 6th instead of January 31st. This proposal focuses on private funds trading in the treasuries market. The agency first proposed these regulations in March of 2022, saying high-frequency trading firms that make up a significant portion of daily transactions in the treasuries market should be regulated as dealers. Now let's talk about the treasury market. January 30th, 2024, yesterday, $48.16 billion in treasury settlement failures were saw at the DTCC. That brings the yearly Treasury FTD total to $514 billion, $618 million, 234,172 settlement failures, and the daily average over 25 billion. Now, settlement of a trade is the point at which the seller is required to deliver the securities agreed upon in the trade, and the buyer has to deliver the funds to pay the securities. So you mean to tell me that after a couple days after Evergrande is ordered to liquidate, the Treasury settlement failures at the DTCC jumped 56.57% from one day to the next to nearly 50 billion, when the previous average daily fails was only 24.55 billion. But again, the ones saying the Evergrande collapse, probably nothing. Wait, there's more. The Bank Term Funding Program reported 164.735 billion in loans outstanding to banks for the week ending January 24th of 2024, which is a $10.574 billion increase from the previous week. The Bank Term Funding Program we previously touched on is ending, I believe, on March 11th. Quote me if I'm wrong on that, but I believe in March, completely cut off, and this is still increasing. What are they going to do? What are they going to do with these settlement failures? The 50 billion on a daily average in Treasury settlement failures, the loans given to banks that are going to be completely cut off. What is going to happen? Is there a black swan event going forward? Now, AMC Ortex data has risen once again to 11.02% short interest of free float, with 27.61 million shares short interest according to Ortex. Now, we pay attention to this for the trend. Also, there is another fund that purchased AMC, and it's actually Swiss Bank, scooping up over 21,000 shares, which is not a large amount, but it is not too much of a small amount and could be a substantial amount gained during a squeeze, right? Not a lot of risk, but could be a lot of reward, holding almost $250,000 worth of AMC. Now, the big short of 2024, 7 meme stocks to bet against. What do you see down here? DWAC, the third one, and not to mention AMC is number 1 on this. Since they posted this, DWAC is up over 22%. AMC is not there yet, but my guess is if you went long on all 7 of these plays, you'd probably have a better return than going short on all 7 of these plays. Investor place is absolutely trash. Nothing I say is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. If you guys are playing DWAC, be very, very careful. Watch around $43.35 for that next fib level on DWAC. However, this could scale up over the entire year since it is election year. Now, AMC, $4.19, up 1.95% on the day. Take a look at where we're trading at. Pay very, very close attention. We are chopping out of this. This is the 4-hour time frame, breaking out of this trend line. It is not anything substantial. If we take a look back here as to what we're tracking on the 4-hour time frame, slightly breaking out of this trend line, out of this channel. This is what we're looking for. We're looking for that move up, and things are still falling into place. Okay, guys, just watch for that move higher. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but what happened with New York Bank today, we're going to touch on as soon as we finish AMC and GameStop's chart. We have a lot of crazy stuff to cover in today's video, and I didn't ask you yet. Please hit the like button. It's free. It helps me out. Now, AMC has 6,000 calls expiring in the money compared to 15,000 puts expiring in the money this week, so we are losing on the options chain by about double, and then 68,000 call contracts expiring out of the money. I did enter calls today, but they are not short term. I never play that. I dropped my position in Discord. Short exempts died down to the lowest we have seen in actually a really long time. I can't even look back on it on Stonko Tracker. It's all the way back to December 29th. We have not seen short exempts this low, which means we may be nearing a very, very last bottom on AMC, if not have hit it. Now, GameStop, I don't really like what I see here. We saw this W pattern formation, and now we're seeing it curl this way. This was the least likely scenario. GameStop finishing this inverse pattern. This inverse pattern right here that we have highlighted is the pattern that GameStop played out before the squeeze in January, before the rip, the rally, right, to $500. but just flipped. And GameStop has been playing out the same exact thing. With that being said, it is still finishing it. So you either see GameStop curled down to retest this demand zone, right around $13.65 to $13.55, and then you see the most harsh sell-off that we have seen in GameStop very, very fast. If it plays out the entire thing inverse, right? That $500 move up would be a large move down, right? For the algorithms. Now, this is something that you could see with GameStop going forward. If that is not seen, watch for a break above $15.10 to come back into this zone that we see, $15.85. It's not exactly curling down just yet, but that is looking like what it's setting up for. Hopefully, we just shift higher, and this is a fake out. Again, the Fed has a meeting today, the FOMC meeting, I believe 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard, so this will affect a bunch of plays. GameStop, 3,000 calls compared to 1,000 puts expiring in the money. We are winning on the options chain, and more people are betting bullish out of the money. Short exempts are also extremely low on GameStop. And finally, the New York Community Bank stock. What happened? The bank that acquired the collapsed Signature Bank fell 40% today after earnings. The bank announced that they will be cutting their dividend by 70% to meet regulatory requirements, and they also reported a fourth quarter loss of $260 million, while expectations were for a gain of that size. That is horrid. This comes just a few weeks before the Fed's emergency loan program is set to expire. Some small banks are feeling the pain. Guys, get ready for this, okay? There is bank collapse, but it is also going to be bank contagion. And when the Bank Term Funding Program is over, this actually is a catalyst. It's not something that is just going to be poof, a cloud, right? This is an actual catalyst here. Moving on, the SPY 486.79 down 0.83% on the day. And in my opinion, in anticipation for the Fed meeting, we need to see if the Fed is going to be hawkish and or dovish. We don't expect them to raise rates today. We don't expect them to cut rates today. We just expect Powell to talk and let us know what is about to happen in March and kind of give us a better idea. And if he comes out like Elon and doesn't touch on things we want him to touch on, or he beats around the bush, it could be negative for the SPY. If the SPY does scale down, watching 482.60 for a bounce on that. So 482.60 is where I'm watching. If the SPY breaks higher, I'm watching 490 to 495. Okay, guys, that is my outlook on the SPY. And TMF. TMF is scaling higher, up 2.8% on the day, 59.17. Filled the gap, came back up, and now TMF is fighting a wall of resistance. This is also going to depend on what the Fed says. Overall, I am still holding this for the rest of the year, as the Fed will potentially cut rates. Something that will also affect the market is war. There was just missiles fired at a U.S. warship. China surrounded Taiwan, and other things are happening as well, which usually never has a good impact on the market. Plus, the last time bank credit contracted this much was the global financial crisis of 2008. So we may just be seeing a black swan event right over the hill, and people aren't prepared for it. Now, a Delaware judge tossed out Elon Musk's record-breaking $56 billion Tesla pay package on Tuesday, calling the compensation granted by the EV makers board an unfathomable sum that was unfair to shareholders. Tesla dropped 4% on this news, but was it really bad news, and is Tesla going to stay down there? Real quick, before we get into the chart, Elon poses moving Tesla headquarters and state of corporation into Texas. He says don't do business in Delaware, except a lot of businesses do business in Delaware. What do you guys think about Elon's opinion here? Honestly, I don't see this being too horrible for shareholders. However, this may just cause Elon to change further decisions going forward, which could affect the stock, and that is what could be being priced in here. Overall, Tesla still held this channel at 185. So that was a solid thing to see. Tesla is still holding up its own. We want to see a break back out of this and to show momentum up to about $208.50 and then to scale higher. As of right now, Tesla is in the deep. But in my opinion, even if you take a look at the chart right here, this is in extremely oversold territory for the long term. So either way, I am still adding to Tesla. Let's touch on crypto to close out the video. I don't want to make the video extremely long. It already is probably very long. 43,000. Bitcoin is still holding up. Not much to say here. Coming into the halving, looking good. Now I wanted to touch on Mara really quick. Mara and Riot, I said they were done. And the reason I said they were done is because they came up to this channel, and I really wanted to see if, this was going to be the end of it, the peak of it. or it was going to enter a new trading range, and Mara and Riot got smacked hard all the way back down from about $30, chopped in half to about $15 for Mara, and now it is coming back into this mid-range, okay? One thing I could say is Bitcoin is scaled up to this mid-range and then scaled back down, just like Ethereum Classic, as well as a few other plays, and Mara may just have done the same thing, came up, scaled back down, and is looking for a bounce to actually start this and make a peak. However, it's just unlikely that Mara and Riot can actually hold their own because they have some defects within the company. But let me know in the comments down below if you think that this thing will make a new all-time high or scale higher. Now, FTX expects to repay its customers in full. Finally, the last sprinkle on top. Apparently, Ripple was hacked for 213 million XRP, worth over $112.5 million. Overall, guys, get in the Discord. The link is right under the video. I'm in there on the daily. Come talk with me and stocked with the most amazing people all day long. Level up your trading journey. It's $3.99 a month. Literally a coffee, sacrifice a coffee, you won't notice it, especially with the benefits and education you get out of it. There are no bad questions, whether you're a beginner or advanced trader. This is the place to go. Plus, I post my positions in there, and we have options trading alerts. Also, guys, if you want 8.1% APY for the next 3 months for doing absolutely nothing with no risk, and then 5.1% for the entire year, use my link and put money into Moomoo. This broker allows you to trade options, go long, go short as a retail trader, view other exchanges, and a ton of other customizable benefits that you can't get on other brokers. It is also giving you probably the most benefits you could possibly get by signing up and putting your money in there. Ton of free stocks and a high yield. That is it, guys. I love you all. Lottery Stocks out.